Welcome learners, welcome to BSW 041 Understanding Tribals. We have been discussing block 3 from unit 1 Tribal Status and Development Strategies. So today we are going to discuss the topic on problems of tribals in India, and also we will be discussing the importance of study of tribal problems, the various committee appointed to study tribal problems since independence, and we will also see what are the various classification of problems of tribes, and finally we will have a look into the overview of tribal problems. Now, why we need to study the tribal problems? As you may be aware that the tribals of India are one of the most marginalized sections of the society. They have been facing numerous problems in social, economic, political and cultural spheres in different parts of the country at different stages of their life. And understanding tribal problems are quintessential to frame proper developmental strategy and policies program for overall sustained inclusive development of tribals. We all know that the tribes are generally backward both economically as well as educationally, and the situation is not uniform in all the parts of India. When we see the northeast, the situation has been disturbed for several years. Whereas in the mainland, that is in central India, problems related to poverty, unemployment, indebtedness, backwardness and ignorance are acute. The tribes of the northeast have a high level of politicization, literacy and a high standard of living compared to their counterparts in other parts. The tribal population are heterogeneous in nature. If you see, there are 705 ethnic groups which has been notified as scheduled tribes as per the provisions of Article 342 of Constitution of India so far. Since tribal people are at different social, political, economic and ecological levels, their problems also differ in degree from each other. Now let us look at what are the studies related to tribal problems. After independence, the Constitution Assembly had constituted two committees under the chairmanship of Sri A.V. Thakkar and Sri Gopinath Bardolai to study the tribal problems and to make recommendations to the Constitutional Assembly. The Thakkar subcommittee's recommendations were adopted and enacted as fifth schedule, and the Bardolai committee recommendations were adopted and enacted as sixth schedule of a Constitution of India. The Government of India had commissioned first ever detailed study in the year 1960 to 61 under the chairmanship of Sri U.N. Debar and assigned the task of investigating and reporting on the problems of the scheduled tribes. Based on the Debar committee's recommendations, various legislative measures, institutional arrangements and new policy and programs have been made to address various tribal related problems. In the recent times, various other committees have also been formed to study specifically the tribal related problems. For example, Bhuria Committee Report, Lokur Committee Report, Munjekar Committee Report. So these were the report which studied extensively the tribal problems. Now let us see the report on Task Force on Tribal Problems. Exploring these different problems, the report of the Task Force on Development of Tribal Areas in the year 1975, it has pointed out the following problems faced by tribal people of different zones. Firstly, when we look at the northern zone stretching from Ladakh and the northeast to terrain region of Uttar Pradesh, has tribes who have been neglected by the authorities since British days, mostly due to remoteness of their habitat and difficult climatic conditions. It is only since the Chinese invasion that along the Himalayan mountains attention has been drawn to their plight. When we see in the eastern, central and western zones comprising the states of West Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, problems of tribal development are related to the pressure of population of land, problem of land tenure, indebtedness, rights of tribals in forest and practice of shifting cultivation, which is coupled with lower production level. The tribals of these areas suffer from chronic scarcity of food, water and employment. Added to this, there is also, due to the problem of modernization, the growth of industrial complexes in the heart of tribal areas. It has disrupted the traditional way of tribal life. And this has also led to group tensions due to large scale population movement which industrialization entails, compounded by resettlement of refugees from erstwhile East Pakistan among tribal people, especially in Dandakaranya. Now, when we see what are the problems of southern zone tribes, they are mostly based on their primitive economy of Podu culture, that is shifting cultivation or food gathering habits and prevalence of Mutadari system of land tenure. And also when we see the tribals who are living in the islands of Andaman and Nicobar, Lakshadweep and Minicoy have their problems arising out of their subsistent economy based on fishing and cultivation of coconut. In short, the history of tribals has been the history of discrimination, marginalization and subjugation. These different provisions of the tribals underline the importance of the adoption of different developmental policies and programs. Now let us look at what are the problems of tribals, because many people have classified various problems under various headings. Many scholars, social scientists and anthropologists, they have studied the problems of tribals in India. They have also classified under various headings. As tribal problems in India is very complex, it cannot be studied under a single classification because which covers all problems of tribes in India. According to Sharma 2008, some common problems of the tribal people are poverty and exploitation, economic and technological backwardness, socio-cultural handicaps, problems of assimilation with the non-tribal population, and also other author Dubé in the year 1982 had classified tribal problems based on tribal cultural contact with non-tribals, like aboriginals living in seclusion, the tribal groups having an association with a neighboring non-tribal society and also maintaining their distinctiveness. The tribals who are living in village along with the caste groups, sects and religious groups and maintaining their identity. The tribals who are being degraded to the status of untouchables and the tribals who enjoy high social, economic and political status. Now let us see the overview of tribal problems in India. Some of the important tribal problems are land alienation, poverty and indebtedness, health and nutrition, education, cultural problems, concept of private property, migration and problem of separatism. So we will be discussing one by one in detail. Now talking about land alienation, if you look at the history of land alienation among the tribes, this began during British colonialism in India when the British interfered in the tribal region for the purpose of exploiting the tribal natural resources. It also coupled with the tribal lands that were occupied by moneylenders, zamindars and traders by advancing them loans, etc. Then opening of mines in the heart of tribal habitat and even a few factories provided wage labor as well as opportunities for factory employment. But this brought increasing destitution and displacement. After the British came to power, the forest policy of the British government was more inclined towards commercial considerations rather than human consideration. Some forests were declared as reserved ones where only authorized contractors were allowed to cut the timber and the forest dwellers were kept isolated deliberately within their habitat without any effort to ameliorate their economic and educational standards. The expansion of railway in India heavily devastated the forest resources in India. The government started reserving teak, sal and deodar forests for the manufacture of railway sleepers. Forest land and its resources provide the best means of livelihood for the tribal people, and many tribes, including the women, engage in agriculture, food gathering, and hunting. They are heavily dependent on the products of the forest. Therefore, when outsiders exploit the tribe's land and its resources, the natural life cycle of tribal ecology and tribal life is greatly disturbed. Now, let us look at another important problem, poverty and indebtedness. The majority of tribes live under poverty line. The tribes follow many simple occupations which is based on simple technology. So, when we look at their occupation, this falls into the primary occupations such as hunting, gathering and agriculture. The technology they use for these purposes belong to the most primitive kind. There is no profit and surplus marking in such economy. Hence, their per capita income is very meager, much lesser than the Indian average. Most of them live under abject poverty and are in debt and in the hands of local moneylenders and zamindars. In order to repay the debt, they often mortgage or sell their land to the moneylenders. Indebtedness is almost inevitable since heavy interest has to be paid to the moneylenders. And when we see the banking facilities in the tribal areas, it is very inadequate that the tribals have been forced to rely on moneylenders. Now moving on to the health and nutrition of the tribals. In many parts of India, tribal population suffers from chronic infections and diseases, out of which waterborne diseases are life-threatening. They also suffer from deficiency diseases. For example, the Himalayan tribes suffer from goiter due to lack of iodine. Leprosy and tuberculosis are also common among them. The infant mortality was found to be very high among some of the tribes. The malnutrition is common and has affected the general health of the tribal children, as it lowers the ability to resist infection, leads to chronic illness and sometimes leads to brain impairment. The ecological imbalance, like cutting of trees, have increased the distance between villages and the forest areas, thus forcing tribal women to walk longer distances in search of forest produce and firewood, which has impact on their physical health. As per NFHS 3 estimates, the under 5 mortality rate and the child mortality rate are much higher for scheduled tribes than any other social group or caste at all childhood ages, that is 95.7 and 35.8 respectively. When we look at their education, educationally the tribal population is at different levels of development, but overall the formal education has made very little impact on tribal groups. Earlier, government had no direct program for their education, but in the subsequent years the reservation policy has made some changes. There are many reasons for low level of education among the tribal people. Formal education is not considered necessary to discharge their social obligations, like superstitions and myths play an important role in rejecting education. Most tribes live in abject poverty. It is not easy for them to send their children to schools because they are considered extra helping hands. And the formal schools do not hold any special interest for the children. Most of the tribes are located in interior and remote areas where teachers would not like to go from outside. Although the literacy levels of scheduled tribes have improved, the gap in literacy levels both for tribal men and women has not declined significantly. In fact, the gap increased between 1971 to 1991, falling thereafter to a little above the 1971 level. As per census, the literacy rate for scheduled tribes in India improved from 47.1% in 2001 to 59% in 2011. Among scheduled tribe males, literacy rate increased from 59.2% to 68.5%, and among scheduled tribe females, literacy rate increased from 34.8% to 49.4% during the same period. The literacy rate for the total population has increased from 64.8% in 2001 to 73% in 2011. So we can see there is a gap of about 14% in literacy rate of scheduled tribes as compared to the all India literacy rate. Now moving on to the cultural problems of the tribal people. Due to contact with other cultures, the tribal culture is undergoing a revolutionary change, and also due to influence of Christian missionaries, the problem of bilingualism has developed, which has led to indifference towards tribal language. The tribal people are imitating Western culture in different aspects of their social life and leaving their own culture. So this has led to degeneration of tribal life and tribal arts such as dance, music and different types of craft. Let us see the concept of private property among tribal population. The advent of the concept of private property in land has also adversely affected tribals whose community-based forms of collective ownership were placed at a disadvantage in the new system. The Scheduled Tribes and other traditional forest dwellers Recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006, which is popularly known as Forest Rights Act 2006, tried to restore the status quo and ownership of the tribals, but its implementation is not up to the mark. Now, another major problem of tribal population is migration, because we can see the tribal concentration regions and states have also been experiencing the problem of heavy in migration of non-tribals in response to the pressure of development. The industrial areas of Jharkhand have suffered dilution of the tribal share of population. These processes continue to prevail and have become even more powerful since the 1990s, when the country was opened up for liberalization. The huge agitations in Maharashtra against Jaitapur nuclear power plant and mining giant Vedanta in Niyamagiri in Orissa are the examples of reactionary movements against policy of alienation and exploitation of the tribals. Now coming to the last one of the major problem of tribal population is the problem of separatism. The divide and rule policy, which was adopted by the British, did a lot of damage to the tribal community of India. The British superimposed their own administrative patterns in the tribal areas and deprived the tribals of the traditional methods of interacting with the people. The Criminal Tribes Act, which the British introduced, gave an impression that the tribals were either criminals or antisocials. The tribal groups such as Kolis, Mundas, Khasis and Santals who fought against the British were branded as dacoits and robbers. The British also promoted missionary activities, especially in the central and northeastern hills. All these activities alienated tribals, which continued even in the post-independent India. To sum up, learners, today we have discussed in this session why we have to study the tribal problems, what are the benefits of such study, how it helped to initiate various developmental measures, and also we have discussed various committees constituted to study tribal problems in India, especially in the post-independence period. We also discussed in detail the various important tribal related problems and statistical indicators of developmental parameters. Finally, we also tried to understand the complex nature of tribal problems in India and how to diagnose the tribal problems, which will help to frame suitable policy, development programs and various institutional measures to address the tribal problems. So learners, I hope that today this session would be very useful and insightful, thinking about the problems of tribes and how to address these issues through various policies, programs. Thank you.